Today is December 12, 2022. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo Right to Life, and this is Pro-Life Week. Well, only one thing on the program today, long ago, before 2021, so it really wasn't that long ago. The Trump administration issued a rule that protected pro-life healthcare or medical professionals, no, not doctors or nurses, from being forced to perform abortions against their strongly held religious convictions. Well, fast forward a few years, and now we have Joe Biden at the helm. And in 2021, the Biden administration issued a new ruling to revoke the Trump-era plan. And the Biden plan would mandate that religious nonprofit, like hospitals or clinics, and for-profit employers to pay and perform surgeries, procedures, counseling, and treatments that seek to alter, seek to alter one's biological sex. So we're dealing with the whole transgender issue. And then they had to perform abortions. So the Biden policy was a two-pronged attack on religious liberty. One, you had to perform surgeries or be engaged in puberty block treatments for minors and adults, even if it violated your religious convictions. And you had to perform abortions against your strongly held religious convictions. So both of them were in the Biden plan. Well, thankfully, Christian hospitals and other Christian organizations filed lawsuits challenging the constitutionality of these two policies from the Biden administration. Well, back in late August, the Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit issued a ruling striking down one of those Biden policies regarding abortions, that Christian doctors, pro-life doctors, were not required to perform abortions against their will, against their religious beliefs. Well, this past Friday on December 9, the Court of Appeals for the Eighth Circuit, so it's a different Court of Appeals, but the Eighth Circuit Court ruled against the Biden policy again, this time striking down this whole transgender surgery treatment issue, that Christian pro-life doctors were not required to perform this transgender policy surgeries against their strongly held religious convictions. So a breath of sanity is invading the appellate courts across the country, which is a wonderful thing. We thank the Lord for that. But it does, I guess what bothers me the most is that it does bring up the whole issue of the direction that the Biden administration is going in pushing its really anti-God and anti-science agenda. You know, when it comes to the whole transgender, I know this is more of a pro-life, anti-abortion podcast. I understand that. And that's the main issue that I'm talking about pretty much twice a week. But, you know, when I think of human life, you know, created in the image of God, God created male and female, and he told them to be fruitful and multiply. He created two sexes, man and woman. That's it. And that seems so basic to my way of thinking that it, you know, when I was a kid, I didn't know anybody in school. I didn't know anybody who was a boy and wanted to be a girl, or vice versa. I didn't know any adults that were wanting to change their sex. That was not happening back in the late 50s and the early 60s in my formative years. But all of a sudden now, it seems commonplace because there's a lot of confusion going on. A lot of children and young adults are struggling in their adolescent years to really find their identity, and they're going through some confusion. And whether it's a certain degree of mental illness or just anxiety or just problems of self-identification, it's happening. But these kids need counseling. They don't need surgeries. So I know I'm kind of getting off on the tangent here, but the Biden administration is pushing this very strongly. They're wanting to mandate or codify Roe v. Wade. They're trying to do everything they can to get abortion legal in all 50 states, even though the Supreme Court has just ruled in Dobbs that states have the authority to implement policy decisions regarding abortion in their individual states. And it's up to the states to make that decision. Abortion is not illegal in the United States. It is not, contrary to what the Planned Parenthood and the Democrats say. It is not. And in most states, it is still very legal, tragically. But here, with abortion and transgender issues, transgender kids can play sports, which is horrible. A boy playing against a girl. It's just a nonsensical policy that is harming girls' sports. It really is. But it's just a policy that I see gaining more and more traction as the Biden administration is trying to gain more power over the lives of average Americans. And we need to be vigilant. When we see these things coming up, we need to be aware. And, thank God that some parents in some of these cases are filing lawsuits, or girls' sports, or pro-life doctors not wanting to, being forced to do abortions. People are rising up and challenging some of these policies. And that's a good thing. So I guess I'll leave you with that. Be aware, be educated that our government is not always working on our side. They are not. And we just need to be well aware of what the Biden administration is trying to do, and we need to find ways to stop it. With that, I will let you go, and I will see you next time.